Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Honorable Marvin Coop Show with me, Chef Marvin. No lie, I'm that guy. And I got my man, the Honorable, the Great, 16 bars. How you feeling, my brother?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me on your show. I
Man,
appreciate it.
I appreciate you, bro. I've been following this man for a minute, man. He does some great stuff. We're gonna put his TikTok on in the description. He got a YouTube as well, so show him some love, follow him, man. So take notes, grab a pen, y'all. Y'all might learn something today. I got a legend in the house, man. So tell me about yourself. What's going on? Like tell the people about
Oh
yourself.
man, what can I say, man? I started listening to hip hop in the '80s, and,
Okay.
and I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. So
Okay.
in my late teens, I believe my first introduction to hip hop was Slick Rick, Roxanne Shante,
Mm, nice.
Rakim, KRS-One. Like Trinidad was a really big. We were big on hip hop
Yeah.
and reggae and house music in the '80s. So everything that America was bumping at that time was getting funneled to Trinidad. So we everything you guys were hearing up there, we were
Hmm.
hearing down here. Roxanne Shante,
Okay.
Roxanne's Revenge, all that stuff, children's stuff. We were hearing that down there. So I just fell in love with hip hop at that age, and then I came to the U.S. in 1990.
Oh,
I
okay. So
lived in
you was
Queens. I lived in Queens, Jamaica Ave, Hollis. So moving around Queens, you got to see the entertainment. You get to see LL walk in the street. You get to see Lost Boys on the Ave. You get to see Murder Inc. So I always saw artists growing up, and this is '90s was my favorite hip hop. So hip hop era.
that's
So
the best era.
I'm a hip hop fan. I love the '90s hip hop the most, but I was introduced to hip hop in the '80s.
So what was that song that just made you love the hip hop? Like what song, what artist, like what got you into there?
I think hearing Slick Rick's children's story, and there was some Public Enemy that was bumping at that time,
Mm,
and I never forget. I was at my high school graduation party, and we were doing the high school graduation. I
yeah.
think it was 89 or 88, and Roxanne's Revenge came on. Yo, and the place we were like, what the what? And the DJ kept bringing it back, and you hearing Roxanne just killing it, and that Roxanne's Revenge is one of those songs that moment I was graduating, it was a graduation party, you know, girls all around, when you're young and there's shorties around, fellas around.
Yes,
But when that
sir.
song came on in the party, it just changed everything, man. And,
It
and
changed
like I said,
everything.
Public Enemy was big, KRS-One,
Right.
Slick Rick. So I was hearing all that stuff before, but that moment was big for me. But my favorite era is still the
The 90s.
'90s.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So versus like 90s culture versus like today's and 2010s culture. How like a big difference. Like what do you seen it? You seen it all,
Yep,
right?
yep, yep, yep.
What do you think of today's hip hop?
Um, I, I try not to bash this hip hop era because it's different,
Yes, it's
you know,
way
and
different.
and just because I don't like it as much as a different era, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's
You're right.
just I think it's just not for me.
It's not.
But there are still some artists today that are still I still like the J. Cole's. I still like there's Griselda guys. Um, and then we still have some veterans that still dropping music. So we still have Style
Hmm.
P putting out music. Jadakiss is still here. Fab is still there.
Yes, it did.
Nas is still putting out music. Cool G Rap is still putting out music. So we still have some veterans still releasing music. But
That's true.
this era of music is the
It's not
I,
for me.
I think the lyrical ability of putting together a song, putting together a complete album, and putting it out for the people. I think it's lost today. It's
Where
different today.
it's,
So I try not to bash the era
I try not to either,
because
bro,
because
but
I
it's kind
don't
of
like it.
difficult not to.
It's a different era.
Yeah,
They listen to music different than how we listen to music in the '80s and the '90s.
that's true. That is true. That is true. What is like? your favorite hip hop album of all time? That's
It's
tough.
it's a toss up between Enter the 36 Chambers and Ready to Die.
Ready to Die. So super classic. Um, I like to do, and something that I'm gonna try on this channel. I didn't get a chance to do on the old channel. An album review from the two albums you just said.
Okay.
So let's start with Into the 36 Chambers. Let's do an album review on that. From like your whole review on it and your overall score on it.
Enter the 36 Chambers.
Yes, sir.
Now again, I I live in Queens. I live on
Hmm.
Jamaica Avenue. People that don't live in Queens or don't understand Jamaica Avenue, in the 90s, Jamaica Avenue was like the epicenter of music coming out.
Yeah.
Whenever new music came out, we had a couple spots. You can go get your CDs. The day they
Hmm.
come out, they're there. You don't got to go to Circuit City.
Right.
You don't got to go to Best Buy. You don't got to. You go to Jamaica Avenue. There's a couple spots, Coliseum Block. You go
Hmm.
pick up the CDs. Sometimes there's even artist sign-ins. So sometimes there's artists in there doing sign-ins. So Jamaica Ave was the place to go and get your CDs.
Yes.
I remember going out to Jamaica Ave, picking up Enter the 36 Chambers, going home, putting it in the CD changer, playing it, hearing the opening, hearing all those bars, and just started over again. So back to back to back to back. I probably listened to that album maybe 3 or 4 times when I
Hmm.
first purchased that first album. But Enter the 36 Chambers was one of the first albums where, and again, I'm taking this back to my childhood too, because
Yeah.
Trinidad, we had karate music, karate movies was huge in Trinidad. We
Hmm.
used to have double features for karate movies. So we love karate movies in
Right.
the West Indies. That was the first album I heard an artist put together blending karate music sounds into hip hop. And they used some intros for some movies, and you knew, like when you heard it, you knew the movie that they were referencing.
Uh-huh.
And to hear those 9 brothers spit those bars, and to hear that production that RZA had on that album,
Man.
it was just like some people talk about, is there an album where you have tracks you can skip? And some people say that what's a perfect album? Can you have a perfect album even if you have a skippable track? You know,
Honestly, my opinion, yes, you can.
okay, right. So I don't think there's any skippable tracks on Enter the 36 Chambers.
No.
Down to the skits, down to the opening, down to the ending. You have multiple MCs that have different characteristics. They spit different. Jizza has one flow, Method Man has one flow, Ghostface has one flow, ODB has one flow. You got, so it was just amazing to hear these brothers come together on one album and put together a piece of, and
Great.
in the 90s too, the music doesn't come like it came today. Like now everybody has a mobile device, and
Yes.
music comes out like that day after day after day. Back then when the music came out, you probably listened to an album for like a year running the same album. Artists
Mhm.
wasn't putting out multiple albums out per
No,
year. You know,
no.
DMX did it once, or Tupac probably did it, but most artists released an album a year, 2 years apart. So
Hmm.
to have that in rotation, to have the summer come and everybody bumping it, to have the winter come, everybody still bumping it. It's Enter the 36 Chambers is one of those albums where from top to bottom it's just a perfect album.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. But scoring it, it's a 10, it's a 10 for me. I have no qualms about Enter the 36 Chambers. And
Right.
and I know there are people out there that point towards ODB as the weakest link on
Mm,
on the Wu-Tang, but
no, not to me.
he fit in. He fit in where he needed to fit in that group. Like that, if you break down the Wu-Tang Clan 9 members and you try to break down who's the most lyrical, whether it's
Hmm.
Method Man, Raekwon, Ghost, Jizza, whoever, yeah, you might have ODB at the tail end of most lyrical. But when it comes to the verses that ODB put out on that album,
Yeah.
it fits right into the album. Whatever RZA did to get him ready for that moment, for those tracks, for those verses, RZA did an amazing job. So again, perfect album. I can't say anything. If anybody has not ever listened to that album, if they're young viewers watching your channel that
Yeah.
don't listen to a lot of 90s hip hop,
Go check it
listen
out.
to Enter the 36 Chamber. Don't listen to one track, two track. Go to one of your streaming sites, play from top to bottom, and see the
Yes.
cohesiveness of how the album opened to how the album closed out. To me, it's a perfect album.
I agree with you, my brother. I couldn't agree with you 100%. And I can't wait till we get to that rate the group member, because you're gonna probably be shocked who I have number 10 in the Wu-Tang, but it's definitely not ODB. So Ready to
Okay,
Die.
okay,
Ready to
okay.
Die. What your album review on that, and what made you
Again, Ready to Die, another album. I
Mhm.
went to the Ave. I was living in Hollis when that album came out. I was living on 205 in Hollis.
Mhm.
And at that time, I was living in a house where we were renting a room. Back then, you rent a room, you have
Yep.
one room on one floor, and I had like three neighbors, all older than me. This time, I'm in my 20s now, in my early 20s. I'm a young man. I bought that album, took it home. Again, my disc changer, put it in, and at that time, I had huge speakers, like huge speakers,
Mhm.
and I put that album in, and you heard the intro.
Yes.
We get bird, and then you hear the
Mhm.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
remember back in the days, niggas had shades,
Yes.
niggas had these shades and corn braids. You heard the rawness of Biggie coming through those songs, and then he had the song where he changed his voice. I was puzzled. I had to
Man.
listen to the album a couple times because at that time in the credits it didn't. I don't think it said in the credits if that was him. But I was totally bewildered. I'm like, who is he rapping with? Come to find out, that
Exactly.
was just him
That was just him.
doing a different voiceover. And again, the cohesiveness of the album. The album opens with him being born, and the album ends with him getting shot.
Which
And
is crazy.
within the album, he's telling his life story within the album. I
Mhm.
think that album maybe only had one feature with Method Man,
That was it. That was it.
I think, and Method Man fit right in with that track.
Yes.
Again, another album where if you haven't listened to the album, anybody that hasn't listened to the album, put that album on from top to bottom. And this is one of the things we don't get with albums nowadays. You don't get an album that tells a story from the beginning to the end. A lot of albums that come out now, some of the tracks don't sound like they're sequenced properly. Like
Mhm.
it'll be heavy on one top, and then there's some. It's here, it's low, but that Ready to Die was just cohesive all the way through to the end. And we had like 16 or 17 tracks on that album. We weren't
Exactly.
getting 9 songs, 10 songs. We weren't getting 2 minute songs. These were 3, 4, 5 minute songs we were getting on these albums back
Like 18,
then.
like you
So
said, 18, 17 songs too.
yes, yes. So you got a complete body of work from Ready to Die. So I mean, there's a lot of albums I have that sometimes that I can rotate in. I
Mhm.
can rotate in Reasonable Doubt. It was written. I like It Was Written better than Illmatic, personally.
Yeah. I
Doggy Style.
Dope.
There's tons of albums I can say. Me Against the World from Pac that
I
can
was
go in
yes,
the
that's
top
my
three, top
favorite
five.
album right there.
But those two albums it just for me it just changed my mentality on hip hop. Like you were getting bars, you
Mhm.
were getting flow, you were getting great production, you were getting great stories being told, and the music is memorable. Like you could put on those two albums right now, and people will know song for song, verse for verse, word for word on most of these songs. So
Man.
another 10 out of 10 album. It's just it's a perfect body of work. There's no skippable track. There's no tracks in Ready to Die where you say, you know what, I don't want to hear that right now. It sounds great when you listen to it from top to bottom.
Amen to that, brother. I would say definitely Me Against the World was probably one of the albums that got me, was because when I heard Me Against the World, It was in the Bad Boys movie. You know, the Tupac "Me Against the World." You know, I heard that beat in the Bad Boys first, the one movie, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Then I heard it again when I was walking home from school. I was like, "Oh, okay." Me and my brother was walking home from school, and he was like, "I was like, can you buy that for me?" He bought me the whole "Me Against the World" tape. Been playing it. I played it. I loved every song from it. The beat was different, and as a young kid, I couldn't understand it until I got older. Like, what was he talking
Mm,
about? You
mm.
know, what was he talking about? And then the one song, "It Ain't Easy," came on. You know, "It ain't easy being me, figure penitentiary, or will I stay free?" I'm like, okay. I loved it. And then the old school track, which is one of my favorite
Oh
tracks of
man.
all time. When that beat, I was like, I've had to play it again because I love the beat so much. And then I've been there playing in my room, and my oldest brother came in there. He was like, "No, I got some stuff for you. Pop cool, but I got something for you." Then he
Mm.
played Death Certificate for me.
Ice Cube. Okay.
Yes, and I
Okay.
didn't realize, that was in '91. I was 2 years old. So,
Okay.
but he played it for me when I was like 6 or 7. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I heard My Summer Vacation. It sounded like a movie.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay. Then that's when my brother introduced me to the West Coast music. So yeah, it was. I just
What's your favorite Tupac album?
Me Against the World will always be my favorite Tupac album. Me
Okay.
Against the World.
I think it might be his best but album put together. I mean, I love All Eyes on Me. I
Yeah,
love
I do too.
Machiavelli. But I think that might be his like most cohesive body of work. That old school song is
Yes.
crazy. Like if you want to know New York, listen to that song.
Listen to
That
the
song breaks down
whole
New York
song.
City
Yes, that
to a
that
T.
whole song was like he was, remember Brooklyn was, he was like, yeah, I love that song, man. And like I said, Me Against the World was my favorite. And this may be a hot take. Machiavelli was probably my second. Because I have like All Eyes on Me.
Machiavelli's a great album.
Yeah, Machiavelli is a great, great album, well put together, verses, beats, and all that stuff like that. And then also, I don't really put All Eyes on Me up there, and people call me
Mm.
crazy for that. It's cool, but it's like, I was with the Me Against the World, the Machiavellis, and then the Are You Still Down? Because Heaven Got a Ghetto is one of my favorite songs as well.
Mm.
So it's like I love All Eyes on Me, but Are You Still Down? All of them is like my top three. So,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know, not to hate, but it's just me.
There, there, there,
I'm
there's
just
that.
different.
There's always going to be that argument. All Eyes on Me versus Life After That. Who has the better double CD? So that's a great conversation.
Say Life After Death for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Life After Death. It was it's not biased. People say it's biased. I don't care what that means. I don't care what they say about that.
No, it's a. I've heard that conversation a lot, and I've seen people go both ways on
Oh
it.
yeah, people can go both ways with that. But for me, it's gonna be always Life After Death. What about you? It's difficult. Don't get me wrong. It's difficult.
I don't like choosing, but I always encourage people to choose.
Yeah, I feel.
So I'm going to go with Notorious B.I.G. and it is bias. It's
Yeah.
it's it's East Coast bias.
Hmm.
But again, it's a toss up, and you can go anyway. I'm not mad at
I
anyone, whichever way they go.
I agree with you, my brother. I definitely agree with you, man. So let's get to it. Uh, let's rank every member. We're gonna pick groups. We're gonna rank they member. We're gonna rank every member from worst to best or best to worst. Like I said, impact on the group, they solo work, and they lyrical skill. And I feel like we should start with Wu-Tang. They had the most members
Impact on the group, their solo
and
and
they lyrical skill.
and their lyrical skills.
Yes, sir.
And we're starting off with Wu-Tang Clan.
We're gonna start with Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay, so when it comes to, I think lyrically,
Mm-hmm.
um, you got to put Jizza in there. You got to put Raekwon in there.
Jizza, you saying Jizza first?
No. I'm just giving you a group first, and then we're gonna
Oh,
then we're
okay,
gonna go.
okay.
So we got to put Jizza in that group. You got to put Raekwon in that group. Method Man got the first Wu-Tang solo album for a reason, so you got to put Method Man in that group, and you got to put Ghostface in that group. So to me, it has to be one of those four:
Yes, I agree.
GZA, Ghost, Raekwon, or Method Man. Now, you said their albums. Um, Method Man, I don't think his albums stand up as strong as the other three. So Method Man slides out. I love the Tikal album. I think Tikal is a raw album.
Yeah.
But I think after Tikal, all of the albums he released after that were not as good as Tikal. Um, then we have uh, let's take a look at GZA. I think GZA may be the most lyrical. Inspector Deck is up there too, but I don't
Yeah.
think Inspector Deck had better albums than
No,
GZA.
he did. Yeah.
So I think GZA is one of the most lyrical members on Wu-Tang, if not the most lyrical member on Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about longevity and albums, GZA got to slide out.
Yeah.
Raekwon only built one, only built two. People put those two albums in their top tens. I've seen people put both those albums in top tens, top 20. So those are two amazing albums.
Yes, it is.
Between Raekwon and Ghost, I think they had the better careers when it comes to releasing solo albums. But I have to give the edge to Ghost. I think Ghost, because if we put Iron Man versus Only Built for Cuban Link, I can't choose.
No, I can't
I
either.
think they're two solid albums. If we put Supreme Clientele versus Only Built for Cuban Link 2, I'm going Supreme Clientele. Again, that's you can
Yeah,
go
that's yeah.
you can go either way on both of those. But after that, Immobility, like Raekwon didn't sustain the heat after that. The albums were good, but Shaolin versus Wu-Tang stuff that was good. But Ghost was dropping um, Ghost Dini. I can't remember, Bulletproof Wallet,
Bulletproof Wallet was
Fish
definitely
Scale
good.
1, Fish Scale 2. Like Ghost just kept consistent. Ghost kept the Wu-Tang name alive. Like right now, Method Man is starting to release more stuff again right now too. So
Yeah.
Method Man is doing this thing recently. But when you look at the albums that Ghost was releasing, I'm not saying that Ghost is the most lyrical Wu-Tang member, but in the category that you're giving me, where it's
Ghost is
lyrical
number one.
albums and longevity, I gotta give it. I gotta give the number one spot to Ghostface Killer. And
And you
I love Ghost. I think Ghostface's Supreme Clientele album is like, and that album is just, and I hate the streaming sites now because they redid the album and they changed some of the production in the album. If you listen to the album now on streaming sites, it's not the same production that's on the physical CD from back in the days.
I
There's some
agree.
songs that they changed sonically, so it doesn't sound the same. But that album is amazing, Supreme Clientele. But yeah, I got to give the number one spot Wu-Tang member to Ghostface.
Even that Pretty Tony album. So
But Tony, like I said,
it,
he
it
had
keeps going. It
Ghostface
keeps
had like a
going.
six album run where it was like, wow, he's just
Yeah.
dropping heat after heat after heat after heat. And
So I'm
and Ghostface is one of those artists that there's a lot of your favorite artists that release their first albums and never released a good album after their first album.
but he kept it
Ghostface
going
is one of those
consistently.
artists that got better the more albums he released.
I agree with you, man. So, like you said, I'm gonna start with number one to I'm gonna go from 1 to 10, from
Okay,
best to worst. I gotta give it to Ghostface, like you said, by far the
okay,
best album works. Um, one of the most soulful in the group, in my opinion.
yep.
Um, people can argue top 10, top 15 if you want to, MCs to like drop consistently. I definitely get that to Ghostface. I think he's one of the best lyrical. My favorite verse from him will always be the Fourth Chamber song.
Mm.
It's it's just by far, like I said, album work. I'm gonna definitely get that to him. Jizza, another one. Liquid Swords is my favorite, but he's another one after that sort of dropped.
Right.
But
That was his
yeah,
best work. But that album is
yeah,
that's
that
a
album
good
is
album.
crazy.
That's a good album.
Remember, you played labels for me the other day, so
Oh, Labels is
yeah,
crazy.
labels is
You know what?
crazy.
That song flew over my head when I first listened to it, and I had to re-listen to it. I'm like, wait a minute, is he talking about the? And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh.
Yeah, he
So
was getting in there, bro. So
yeah, yeah.
and when they played it on the they what's the show they had on Hulu? People was like, "Oh man, you heard that one song?" I was like, "That song is old, bro." Like people got hip to it when the show came out.
Okay.
The Wu-Tang show came out. I was like, man,
Okay.
see, people didn't understand that.
How
Y'all,
how do you feel about the TV show?
I'm gonna be honest with you, because us being from the city, we saw some of that stuff, right? I know it's Hollywood, I know it's from TV. It's just sometimes I don't like these shows when they don't tell the truth. But hey, it's for TV, it's for Hollywood.
Right.
They all did a good job playing. Yeah, I give you that.
Mm,
But I'm just looking like some of that's not true.
yeah.
Some of it was, some of it wasn't. But like I said, I know it's for TV. I know they don't want to tell the full truth, but
Right. But
it was
but
cool.
that's I think
That's everybody, you know?
I think that's not good though, because
Yeah,
your story's already told. You already lived that story.
exactly.
Why would you tell a story of your life when you know you're not telling the truth? Like okay, make a movie saying hypothetical movie, but if you're gonna tell a Wu-Tang story,
Be
give us
real.
the real. I mean, there's a lot of bad, but that's how
That's
it
what made
was.
them
So
who they are.
yeah,
Exactly.
give us the real. So I started watching. I watched like the first season, and I saw what you saw. I was like, you know what, this is not 100% authentic. So
Yeah.
you know,
I couldn't really
I
see
got up.
myself. I mean, I checked out season three. I missed the entire season two. I was like, I'm not gonna watch it. But when they was like, season three is not bad. I was like, okay. Then I was like, it's still the same as season one,
Mhm.
but I'm like, it's for Hollywood, I guess,
But
people.
I'm happy for them, man. This if
Yeah,
one of the things I hated about the '90s is that the record labels
yeah,
all got rich off of these artists, and artists didn't either. They didn't know how to. Um, they didn't know about percentages and all the stuff that was on the back end of putting out your music, and that's why I'm happy for the all the legacy artists that are putting out music now.
yeah,
They don't need these record labels, so some of them still make. Some of them are finally making money. You know,
exactly.
look at De La Soul. They just finally got their their catalog back.
That's
They
crazy.
weren't getting any money from all those. How do you release all that music and your record label doesn't want to pay you? So I'm very
That's
happy that
crazy, man.
yeah, I'm very happy that Wu Tang is doing what they're doing now, and a lot of older artists they finally with the internet they finally found a way to put their music out
Yeah,
without getting jerked by these record companies.
yeah.
Because a lot of artists back in the days put
It's
out a lot of
robbed.
great music, great albums, and a lot of them have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
But
That's
but
crazy.
today it's different today. If they can find ways, there's ways today for them to put out music.
I agree.
You don't need a record label. You don't need to press CDs anymore, and you can make tons of money. So I'm very happy for the legacy artists that are still around, making it happen.
I agree with you, my brother. I agree with you, man. But yeah, I go with Jizza number two, and like I said, Liquid Source is by far his best work. Albums after that was, best song to me was probably best verse to me was on Reunited. His
Mm,
verse on Reunited was crazy. Even though, like I said, you could have labels,
mm,
fourth chamber. It's like the whole Liquid Swords intro was
mm.
no, it's I can go on and on about
Yeah,
just, but
yeah.
I'm gonna say Raekwon number three. First two only built for Cuban links, like you said. Those two solid. I can't take nothing from that. Then you had like the Immortal was cool. The one he released in like 2017, The Wild was
The
okay.
Wild,
The
yeah.
Wild was okay. I only like that Marvin song. We was talking about Marvin Gaye, and it was okay. You know, after that, like you said, it was those were
He did have a really good album that Shaolin versus Wu-Tang, that Red
Shaolin
album.
versus Wu-Tang was
That was
good.
pretty dope. That
And
was
then he
pretty dope.
had the it was a Wu Massacre album he did with Ghost and
Wu Massacre
Method
is
Man.
tough too.
Wu Massacre was tough, but like you said, that wasn't solo. That was them three. It was pretty
That
much
was
you
all
went,
three of them, right? That
yeah, it was
album
just
was
all
tough.
three. That
That
was
album was
tough.
tough.
By far his best verse to me was Faster Blade. It was,
What album that was off of?
Faster Blade was off of what was that? I don't even think that was his song.
Okay, okay,
Faster
okay.
Blade. I'm trying to think. No, Faster Blade. Iron Man.
I'm okay, okay,
Iron
okay.
Man was the Faster Blade. That was one of his best verse. Inspector Deck, I would say number four, because his lyrical is crazy. Album wise, we all know what happened with his album.
Okay.
The
You
first
put an
album.
Inspector Deck over Method Man?
I'm have to because of the lyrics, and I include his
Mm,
guest verses too as well.
mm.
Because Inspector Deck kills it all the time. Even like when Method was releasing like the meth lab and all that stuff like that, he would bring Inspector Deck on. He would just kill it. Inspector
No,
Deck
Deck
will
is nice.
always,
Deck is nice. Deck
yeah,
is
Inspector Deck will always kill everybody's verses, man. Like just one of my by far favorites. Um, the song from Tales from the Hood was definitely like
okay.
the craziest one to me.
People
But
still talk about that Inspector Deck verse that was taken off of the Tupac song. Like that's one of those verses where
yeah,
they should have never took that verse off of that song. That's crazy.
yeah,
How do you do
he,
that? How do you
yeah. How
take
do
that
you do
verse
that?
off?
That's not cool, man. And even him with Triumph. Triumph was he killed Triumph too. I think he made that song better. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
That song, that whole Triumph song, like
Yeah, that whole
good
Triumph
song,
was
good song.
crazy.
That album, that album, the first song, the first song, that was the second song
Yeah,
on CD2,
on
right?
CD2. Yep,
Oh,
CD2. Yep.
when that second CD started, and who was it that gave the intro? Was it Raekwon or was it Rizzo?
I think it was Raekwon on
That was like, yo,
this
stop
two.
biting
I
our
think it was on
style,
this two.
and had the whole rant, and then that song comes in. Man, listen, man.
No. Dirty. Wu-Tang is here forever,
Yeah.
motherfuckers. Yeah,
No, no, no,
yeah.
no. Before the song,
Oh,
it was
before the song. Oh, okay.
somebody had a whole rant about
That
yo,
was that
stop
was
biting our style. And.
Raekwon said that. Raekwon said
Okay,
that.
yeah, that whole
Yeah.
rant was crazy. And
It's
then when the
sort of
song just rolled in,
the reason why I like that too. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now because it reminded me of when Ghostface said on the Purple tape.
yeah,
He was like, "All y'all biting our out." You know, I was like, okay, they started something now. Number five, I got to give it to Meth, man.
okay.
Meth is my guy. Like you said, Takao is cool. I was feeling Takao 2000 because it was like I was like, okay. Then after that, I was like, it was cool. But he also kills verses too. You know, I think him and Redman kind of like saved each other a little bit.
The Blackout album.
Them blackouts was cold. I got them blackouts, how high, all that stuff like that. Then his movie
How
career took
high
off.
is gold? Oh, how high is a? Oh man, that track is
That
so fire.
that is
Oh,
a great track, bro. So I feel like yeah, they said they sort of saved each other because you lucky Red ain't in this group because I had some words for him too. But I definitely think Method Man is number five. His greatest verse to me was Shadow Boxer. I'm gonna say Shadow
Method
Boxer.
Man.
One of his greatest verses to me was definitely Shadow Boxing.
Mm.
I like that verse. I love that verse, man.
You know what? When you think about Meth's career, Meth has a lot of great verses.
Don't he
Like
though?
he he
He
he
does.
was on a lot of people's albums. A lot of like Meth has a lot of good verses.
And I'm gonna ask you a question after we done with the Wu-Tang. Because even the song, that the one song he had with Mary, and then when Mary brought him, yeah,
All I
all I
need.
need, and then when she brought him back on her album,
Classic, classic,
that track was once again, this is you know, I like Meth is definitely a good verse
classic,
person, man.
classic, classic, classic.
Only reason why I'm putting Jizza at number six was because of his production on the first Wu-Tang album. and everything he did for the other members of their first albums. So I definitely give him that. I don't think he's a good lyricist at all. I think he's a
Jizza?
great no RZA.
Oh,
I don't,
RZA.
yeah, I don't
Okay,
think
okay,
RZA.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, RZA number 6. Yeah, Jizzle was number 2. I say RZA is number 6 because of his production and what he can do. Now he did have an okay verse on that fourth chamber song, but it's like he's still kind of like whack. I
He's hit
don't
or
like
miss.
his.
He's hit or
Yeah,
miss.
he definitely can be hit or miss, but his
His his
production is
his
crazy.
style is very unorthodox. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
I get it. Now the most underrated number 7, I gotta go with Killer.
Killer
My
Priest?
Master Killer.
Master Killer? Okay,
I
okay.
think Master Killer. I think he's the most underrated Wu-Tang member. Nobody took him seriously, but the mystery of chess boxing, greatest verse I've ever heard. Uh, album work, nah.
Yeah.
Uh,
He put out a bunch of albums, but
they
they
just wasn't
never
that. Yeah,
popped. They never popped.
they
Yeah.
just wasn't that, my brother. And I hate to do this to my guy. He's Brooklyn's own, but ODB is number 8 because his first album after that, like you said, pretty much
His album is a GOAT album too.
his album was.
ODB's solo album is
But then
fire.
again, his second album wasn't bad either. I like his second album too. It
Yeah.
wasn't bad.
It wasn't as good as the first album.
Yeah, it just wasn't good as the first album. But the second one was just, that, hey, say, hey, I got your money. Don't swear
It
it.
had some
It
it
has
had
some
some
hits,
hits on it.
but
It has some
it's
hits
one of
on it.
them. It's like we said earlier. I skipped through a few of that second one. I'm not gonna lie
Yep.
to you. But Shame on the Nigga was my favorite verse from him. But he also has some good verses too, like the Mariah Carey. When he especially when you hear the stories nowadays after he gone, how he wasn't even supposed to be on some of these songs. He just popped up in the studio like the one Praz and Maya song. I remember Praz at the interview said he wasn't even supposed to be on that song.
Mm.
And he just popped up in the studio. Now, Capadonna's number 9. He only had one good verse, and that was on the Winter Wars. Other than that,
Mm.
he really is kind of like weak. And the only reason why I say
That,
that
that,
16
that
verse,
Pillage album is still a pretty
it's
solid album.
it is, but do people really buzz off that album? It's the real question.
Mm. I think the Pillage album, a lot of
They don't appreciate it like we do though. Yeah.
hardcore fans like that album. Most casual fans, I don't think.
Yeah, but they don't appreciate it like how you and I will appreciate that. You know what I mean? So, and here's what I was gonna tell you about. I think you guy is the weakest link. I think you guy by far
No, no,
is,
no,
and on top of that, albums
no.
all whack, in my opinion. He had some good verses, like on Triumph. Once again, his best verse was on
Yes.
Triumph again.
Yeah.
But I feel like you guy was by far the worst Wu-Tang I've
No,
ever heard.
your last three, yeah. The thing about ODB is I have a soft spot for ODB
Me too.
because I think his album, like I said, if you go through Wu-Tang albums,
Yes.
like when it comes to lyrical ability, I think ODB was the least lyrical of Wu-Tang members.
Yeah.
But when it comes to solo albums, whatever RZA did to get him
Yeah.
focused for that album was an amazing body of work.
It
And
was.
that pushes him at least fifth on the list of great albums, like
Just on
great
the list of
solo
great
albums
albums.
and great
So,
solo. So I have that soft spot for ODB because I think it's better than The Pillage. It's better than You God's first album.
oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
So I wouldn't put, even though he's the least lyrical, I wouldn't put him at the end, but I'll give him that bump up, just like you did. I'll give him
Give him that
six,
bump.
7. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we all know who had the best debuts between all of them. Who had the actual best? What was your favorite? Between Takal, Only Built for Cuban Links, Iron Man, ODB's first one, Liquid Swords. So between them 5, I mean, I don't know if I'm forgetting one, but
I'm going Supreme Clientele, best Wu-Tang solo album.
best Wu-Tang solo album?
Yeah, it's a hard. Listen, it's difficult. Okay, Only Built for Cuban Link is a fire album.
Yeah,
Iron Man is a fire album. Um,
Takal.
the GZA's first album is a fire album. Tikal is a fire album. The ODB album is a fire album. But me, um, that one got the most rotation for me. That
Okay.
Supreme Clientele. Something about the production on it
Yeah.
and some of the stories he was telling on there it was just, yeah. But it's close. Though there's 4 albums that you can easily slide with four of those albums.
Do that, my brother. I agree.
Only built Tikal, um, Iron Man, and that Supreme Clientele. It can slide anyway, but I'm going with Ghostface, my favorite Wu-Tang solo album.
I can't pick. It's just difficult, man.
Yeah, it's
Especially
hard. It's hard. If
especially
anybody goes
between
any other way, Liquid Swords too. Liquid Sword is, but I get more enjoyment out of Supreme Clientele than I get with Liquid Swords. Is more of a I'm listening, listening to the Supreme Clientele. I'm
yeah,
listening, but I'm
yeah.
more. It gives me more energy. But Liquid Swords, listen,
Liquid
I'm
Swords
not
take me
mad at
to.
anybody if they go. And I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
I salute you, King. I salute you, man.
I'm not mad.
So I mentioned earlier Method Man's. I think this has been a debate over the years too. So you're all I need with Method Mary versus Nas and Lauryn Hills. If I rule the world, which one you pick?
Method Man.
Method Man.
Yeah. Something about like Mary J. Blige. Like it's just something. She's not the best singer,
Mm-hmm.
but like Sweet Morning Dew, I took. It's
Something about that. Yes.
her energy on that song, and then Method Man comes in, and the story that they're telling, it sounds like a real love story. It hit different.
I agree
But
with you.
the Nas and Lauryn Hill fire track too. No
Yes, sir.
disrespect.
Man, I
No
got you, my
disrespect.
brother. Let's do another member. Let's go with the locks.
Whew. Shout out
Mm-hmm.
to Yonkers, man.
Shout out to Yonkers, bro. So, like we said, impact on the group, solo work, and lyrical.
This one's tough.
It's
All
very
right,
tough, and not
because
because it's 3 members, people. Because this one is super tough. That's
yeah,
why I
this
put
one,
them on there.
it's a 2-man show. It's Styles P and Jadakiss. All right, no disrespect to Sheik. Sheik has his moments.
Yeah,
Without Sheik, it's not the locks. So
facts.
off the top, no disrespect to Sheik Luch.
But I do like
When
Walk
you,
With Me though.
huh?
I do love Walk With Me though.
That's a tough album. That album gets replayed like crazy.
Yeah, I love
Tough
Walk With Me.
album. Tough album. I want to start by saying that I don't agree with people about Jadakiss's solo career. A lot of people think that Jadakiss has a bad solo career with solo albums.
Ooh.
I hear a lot of people that he don't have a classic album.
Oh, you got to point them people to me.
It's,
Yeah, you got to point them people to me, bro.
there are people that will take Jadakiss's mixtape career over his studio album career. Yeah, yeah, and I think it's valid. If you look at the Champions Year series, there's a bunch of stuff, but I hear a lot of people criticize Jadakiss for his solo albums, and I think Jadakiss he doesn't have the classic 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 albums, but Kiss the Game Goodbye is such an amazing album when you listen to it. The longevity of the songs in that album is crazy.
Yeah.
And then you just said Walk With Me was Sheik Luch's first album. That album is solid. Was Styles P Gangsta and a Gentleman his first album? What was his first album?
A Gangsta and a Gentleman.
So if you look at those 3 albums, you put them all together.
I gotta go with Gangsta and a Gentleman for number 1.
Yeah, that might be the concession. I like the Jadakiss a lot. But that Styles P album might be the best of the first 3 solo albums. When you look at longevity, their mixtape run was crazy. When they were going at G Unit and going at Dipset and all that, they were holding their own. Yeah. They destroyed G Unit. Shout out to G Unit. Shout out to Queens. But
Yeah, shout out to Gene. Most definitely.
they destroyed G Unit.
Yeah.
All right. And they were all coming with heat. What's the young boy's name that was on the group?
Oh, J Hood.
J Hood. Shout out to J Hood. I know they're
J
not
Hood.
cool now, but shout out to J Hood. J Hood
Hey,
did his
hey,
thing
J
too.
Hood in that D block. Hey, go listen to that D block, y'all.
No, J Hood, yeah, J Hood had some really, really, really good songs. So longevity, I gotta give it to Styles P. Jadakiss was Jadakiss was releasing albums
Mm-hmm.
and Jadakiss was releasing mix CDs and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's only recently that if you look back at the last 5, 7 years, Styles P has if you look at Styles P's
Southeast
music
has
over the
some
last 7
every
years,
year. Every
Styles
year.
P is consistent up to today.
But even Sheik too, like you said, with Sheik. But Sheik is more like you said before with what's his name? With Killer. It is that hardcore rap and only hardcore fans would appreciate that.
Yeah. Sheik started off strong with his solo albums,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have a better solo album than Walk With Me. That's his best body of
I
work.
definitely agree with you on that one.
After Taxes is cool, the other ones are cool. Styles P is very tough. Even though I love Gangsta and the
I
Gentleman,
gotta, I don't know, bro. Silverback Gorilla was cool in '08. I ain't gonna lie to you. That
that was
Silverback,
tough too.
I was bumping
Was
that
a
that
tough
whole
album.
summer. That Silverback Gorilla was cold.
That was a tough album.
It
That
was.
was a tough album. That
It
was a tough
was.
album. You're right. That was a
It-
tough
it-
album.
I'm like, yeah. I was like, because when I remember when it came out, I went to Best Buy and bought it.
No,
I was
that
like,
was a tough album.
okay, it wasn't bad. And
Yeah.
I remember just rocking it the whole summer. So I was like,
Okay.
I like that. But
Mhm.
you're right. Gangsta and the Gentleman Styles, it's just because even with Styles, Styles is like the most, not just the most slept on. And even people kill me these days with this whole him and Jim Jones stuff. I'm like, no, we
Oh,
are
come
not
on,
gonna go
man.
with that,
No
y'all.
disrespect to Jim Jones. No disrespect to
No,
Jim Jones,
no,
but
a lot of
they're
disrespect
different.
to Jim Jones,
They're,
bro. Because Jim Jones you can only really count on your hands how many tracks he really had.
right.
Don't get me wrong. I was the main person in high school going balling. Don't get me wrong. But besides that whole Hustlers Product of My Environment album,
Mhm.
what the first one wasn't good.
Mhm.
Certified Gangsters was a cool song, but that it didn't make that album. That album was whack to me.
I think Jim Jones is the and this is gonna sound crazy. Jim Jones is the best solo Dipset member because when you if you look at Cam's career, Cam had a great early career. His
That's it.
SDE,
That's it.
and then
Purple
the Come
Haze.
Home With Me, Purple Haze 2. I don't think was that.
Purple Haze was garbage. Purple Haze 2
But
was
but
garbage.
but Jim
But
Jones after that, Jim Jones kind of took off after that,
he did.
and
Because Jim
Jim
Wells only
Jones
had
like
one too.
yeah.
Yeah, Jim
But
Wells
but
only had
but
two.
I like Cam better than I like Jim. I think Cam
Yeah.
has the better hits, but when they talk about longevity, I give it to Jim Jones. But back to the locks.
Yeah. Styles
Styles
had
P
work, man.
Styles P best album used to be Gangsta and the Gentleman for me, and then I started debating the G Host album and Gangsta and the Gentleman. Like the G Host
Ah,
album was
yeah.
a reinvention for him. Like he showed people that he can still do it with the young boys. Like he made it an effort to change his style up a little bit, but
Yeah.
still give you gems. So if have you listened to the G Host album
I love the G Host album because I think the only reason why it drew attention to me was because of the album work.
or the cover?
The cover was
The
cool
cover is crazy.
because it was a poster in the bodega. Like this was like before, what was that 2018 when it came out?
I can't remember. It sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Because that was around the time like CDs were starting to disappear.
Yep.
And somebody had that CD. Now I went and got it. So I definitely remember the G Host
I,
album.
I bought a physical copy myself too.
Yeah, I bought the physical copy. It was another one. Like I said, his artwork is just crazy that draws me to him. Then we put the CD in, it's like it matches the artwork. The world's
That
most
album,
hardest.
his energy on that album,
Yeah.
it took me back to the Gangsta and the Gentleman energy.
Now, what took me back to the Gangster and the Gentleman was the world's most hardest MC project. That
Mm.
album was crazy.
What was that? A
Yo,
mixtape or that was a physical album or
see,
a
here's the
mixtape?
thing. Here's the thing. I called it an album, man, but people sold it as a mixtape because it came out on the platform. And that's what I'm saying about Styles. He's so different. It came out on the platform as an album and a mixtape. So you could find it on album platforms and you found it on live mixtapes and stuff like that too.
Okay.
So that's what I loved about that. He put it out on both of them, and it came out
I don't think
about.
I ever heard that one. I
Go
gotta
listen
go back
to it.
and look for that.
Yeah, go listen to that, bro. You're gonna be like, damn, this take you really back to Gangster the
Okay.
Gentleman, Super Gangster, and all that stuff like that. And then like even the one after those, like before, like the Independence album was cool too.
Yeah, he did the dime bag. I think dime bag was pretty dope too. Like Styles was very consistent when
Yeah.
Jadakiss and Sheik wasn't really doing stuff. And then Sheik had a great verse on that Redman album. He had a
Mm,
verse on one of those songs on that new Red album. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
Sheik took it back, yo. He went bananas on that song. But I gotta give and even though I think Jadakiss is like I want to give Jadakiss the number one spot on the locks,
I gotta give
but
it
Styles
to
P was way too consistent.
I gotta give it to Styles because the consistency of it. Who did you say Wu-Tang kept the Wu-Tang alive? Ghostface? That's sort of what Styles did with the
Ghost,
locks.
Ghost.
Styles
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that. Like he
He did.
kept the locks
He did.
name out in the streets. But don't
He
get me
did.
wrong, commercial albums, Jada got that. Because
Jada.
I
Yeah.
love Kiss of Death. And I love Top Five. I love all of them.
Top Five was a really good album too.
Yeah, Top
That was
Five,
one of the albums I liked. I didn't like the Ignatius, whatever it was. I didn't really. It was cool, but it was too personal for me. But the Top Five album was pretty cool.
yeah, I agree with you on that one. I couldn't get with I didn't understand it at first. It took me a while to
Which one?
the Ignatius album.
Yeah, I think his boy had passed, and
It
that
did.
was yeah. There was a lot of personal stuff in that
It
album.
was. Because I'm looking like, because him and Fab just released that Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm.
So I was
The
like,
Fab, the
okay.
Fab joint, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay,
Oh
Jada.
no, that was what was that? That was the Fab and Jada Kiss, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was thinking like,
A lot of my friends dump on that album, yo.
what? Really?
Yeah, a lot of my close friends they think that the production wasn't up to par, and they didn't really like
What?
some of the bars on that album. Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's trying to say opinion. Hey,
I love the album, but I got some close friends that they dump on that album heavy, yo. I don't
are
know
you
why.
serious, man? Wow. Um, you got one more. You got time for one more group, or you want to
Let's
just save?
go, let's go, let's do it.
Um, let's go G Unit.
You know I'm from Queens, right? You know I'm from
Uh,
Jamaica, Queens, right?
that's why this is going to
You
be
know
so
that's
interesting.
hometown, right? That's hometown.
This is why it's going to be interesting.
All right.
It's going to be interesting, bro. So what you saying? What you thinking?
What's the criteria?
Uh, impact on the group, solo work, and lyrical skill.
All right, so let's get lyrical skill out the way. Lloyd Banks.
Let's get Lloyd Banks out the way.
But here's the thing. G Unit has a lot of different variations.
Mm-hmm.
There's the core, Banks,
Yeah.
50 and Yayo.
Yeah.
Then there's the era with Young Buck
And game.
and the
Yeah.
game. All right, so there's different eras
They're
of
different.
G Unit. But if you're
Yes.
talking about core G Unit, Lloyd Banks was the most lyrical person in G Unit. Lloyd Banks is still releasing music today.
Yes, he
Lloyd
is.
Banks
Yes,
just
he is.
released another album
Yes, he
recently,
did.
a
I
couple
just
months
saw
ago.
that. I saw it.
All
Yes,
right,
he did.
and maybe he's
And
not the artist he was back then, but he's still releasing music.
and still lyrical too to this day.
And he's still very lyrical. He's still spitting bars. All right. He just
Yes.
got to get his production. He needs better production. His production sounds the same across a lot of too many songs. But G Unit, man, as a crew, that whole mixtape era,
Crazy.
like when G Unit came in the I think it was when 50 Cent first started to really buzz was like around 98, 99, 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he dropped that How to Rob song. and Pun responded, Ghostface responded, a lot of guys responded. Like Queens was going crazy.
Yes, it
Like
was.
like like when that group started to buzz, like every like if you think of a summer, right? When
Hmm.
you have a strip and cars passing by and cars bumping music,
Yeah.
everybody was bumping G Unit.
Yes, it was.
And when 50 Cent started doing the taking artists' beats and rhyming over them,
Crazy.
it went a whole nother way. Like everywhere you go in Queens, G Unit, what? We in here. What?
What? Hmm.
Everywhere you went. So the
Hmm.
impact of G Unit was unforgettable, man.
Yes.
It was unforgettable. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing mixtape stuff, some album cut stuff. Banks was going crazy. 50 had the hooks. Him and Ja Rule was going at it. It was pandemonium in
Yes, it
Queens, right?
was. Yes.
But that era was, you gotta give, even though I don't think 50 Cent is the most lyrical person on G Unit, you you gotta give him his props for
Putting that
finding the
together.
lane. He created his own lane where he dissed a bunch of high ranking rappers, and he got them to respond to him, and that got his buzz popping. You know, Jay Z said, "I'm about a dollar." What the ever 50 Cent? The whole
Yeah,
stadium went crazy. Like he found a lane to get in, and G Unit just popped like crazy, man. But
I agree.
even Tony Yayo may be the least lyrical of the three, but Tony Yayo got tracks, got solo songs, got mixtape stuff. So as a cohesive unit, G Unit was nothing to mess with in that 2001 2002 era, man. It was crazy. It was
I
crazy,
agree.
man.
I agree. I agree with you.
But I'm giving Banks the most lyrical,
Banks is definitely very
most
cool.
consistent. If you look at 50 right now, like when he go on tour, him and Yayo go on tour, um, they're really doing a lot of the classic stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, 50 hasn't put out anything new.
I think the
Um,
only one that do put out stuff is probably Banks and Yayo still put out
yeah,
some stuff.
Yayo put out something early this year and something last year, but it wasn't like that. Banks has been consistent with
His album.
His Halloween mixtape series still pops. He just so Banks is very consistent.
Yeah.
I'm mad that G Unit broke up, man.
Me too.
Very mad. When G
Me
Unit
too.
had um the game and Young Buck, when they released that um Beg for Mercy album, that Beg
Yes.
for Mercy album was, listen, man,
Crazy.
Queens was, you know, that, and then the TOS album, when they were together,
They was unstoppable.
they were unstoppable, man, and eat too many egos,
Yeah. I
too
hate
many
that.
egos destroyed them.
I hate that.
Yeah, but
I hate that.
that G Unit era, nobody can say that that wasn't like the birth of the mix, like the mixtape era, kind of popped with them. Because they were
Amen.
putting out mixtapes that were better than people's albums. They were taking
Amen.
everybody's best beats, rhyming over them, and some of them sounded better than some of the artists' records.
Amen.
And that just became a trend where everybody started making mixtape. Lil Wayne went on his mixtape run. Fab went on his D Block. So, but I think I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I think G Unit started that mixtape era, taking beats and making their own songs out of them, and it just
Yeah,
popped like,
they was. And then, like you said, D Block and then Dipset came after that. Like
yeah.
they were
But
all like around the same time, but like you said, 50
yeah,
had started to take.
I think I don't know for sure. I could be wrong, but I think 50 and G Unit they started. I think they
Yeah,
started it.
they did. Man. All
But
right,
yeah,
man.
G Unit is a G Unit should be studied, man.
They should.
Like too many artists.
Better go in.
50 would not have blown up if everybody didn't respond to his How to Rob song.
They
Like
agree. I
he
agree.
deliberately called people's names. He deliberately called the biggest names. Pun was scorching at that time. He
Hmm.
500 pounds. How you going? What up? How you going to run?
Yeah.
He deliberately called out Nas. He called out Jay Z. He called out all of the big names at that time. He called out the Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang Clan was scorching in the late '90s.
Mm-hmm.
And then his ploy worked.
It did. They took the bait.
He
They
took
took
the
the
bait.
bait.
Took the bait.
They took the
Mm-hmm.
bait, bro.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got one. I got something else for you. Top '90s group 10, like 10 of them.
Top 90s groups.
Yep, 10. 10. Give me 10 of them.
That's hard, man. You can get 10 right out of Brooklyn. You can get 10 right out of Brooklyn. Top 10 90s groups. Okay, okay, okay. If we're talking about most successful groups as individual artists, album sold, record label, their influence on.
No, no, no. You know what? That is difficult.
No, no, hold on. In no order. In no order.
How
This is
about
in no
this?
order.
Let's say that for another episode. Let's do
Okay.
duos.
Could
Let's
that could
do
that could,
top
that's
10
good.
duos from the '90s. Then let's do
Top
duos.
10 duos.
Top 10 duos.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
should be a good one.
that's
Because I'm gonna write a list for the next time we do this
I'll put a list together too. I'll put a list
for the
together.
group. I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Top 10 duos.
Top 10 duos.
You know, like a lot of people love Mobb Deep. Like Mobb Deep is just one of those like rest in peace to Prodigy. Like
But do you consider Mobb Deep a group or a duo?
you said duo or group? You said
Duo.
duo, right?
Yeah, duo.
Yeah, they're two guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I just feel like
Prodigy and Havoc. It's a
Prodigy and
duo.
Havoc. That's a good one.
I mean, Noid is affiliate, I guess. Tragedy Gaddafi, they're all affiliates, and also, yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're a duo.
Okay.
Um, um, you gotta put EPMD.
Definitely.
You gotta put EPMD in there. Duos. You gotta put Outkast in there as a top duo.
Most definitely.
Um, you gotta put some of those Brooklyn groups, man, like Helter Skelter.
Man,
You got Boot Camp Click.
Helter Skelter, man.
There's a lot of good duos, man. Like you could even put Method Man, Redman as a
Oh
as a
yeah.
duo, man. Um, oh man, you know what? I think Mobb Deep had the. I think Mobb Deep when you put together influence in the
Mhm.
game, if you put together album quality like Juvenile Hell, Hell on Earth, The Infamous, like no, they have a really good catalog
Right.
as a duo, and they have solo stuff too.
Exactly.
Influential songs, like you still go to baseball stadiums and basketball games, and you still hear Hell on Earth being played. They play Mobb Deep stuff in all these arenas still.
Yes, they do.
Uh, and again, I do think Outkast deserves a lot of praise too for what they did. I think they're an amazing group. They
Hmm.
got bars. They got two different guys, two different styles.
Yes.
They got classic albums under their belts. EP, I have a soft spot for EPMD. I think what Eric and Paris did early in their careers.
Thanks.
Even Arabian Rakim, if that's a duo.
I think yeah,
Like
most definitely.
Arabian Rakim had some pretty solid albums too. But I I gotta go with Mobb Deep. I gotta go Mobb Deep.
It's difficult, man, because Helter Skelter was definitely they underrated with
Rest in peace,
they
Sean Price.
rest in peace to him, man. They underrated lyricists, the hard hitting style. Nocturnal was one of my favorite
They
albums.
had Brooklyn Rock. I'm from
They
Queens.
had they had
When I
yes.
go to Brooklyn and you used to hear them gritty, Helter Skelter joints. Yo, I was in Brooklyn. Like,
They
what's going on here?
they was I um my favorite Gangstar. Moment of
Rest in
Truth,
peace to Guru as well.
Guru, yep, Guru. Above the
You know
Clouds.
what? You're right, man.
That's my
Gangstar has some solid albums, man.
Gangstar
Gangstar
has.
has a bunch of solid albums.
I gotta put Ray and Ghost up there too.
Okay,
I gotta put Ray and
okay,
Ghost up there.
okay.
Mob Deep as well. Egg B and Rakim as well. I gotta put UGK. Cause
Okay.
Super Tight
UGK
was
is what's his name that passed away and
Pimp
Bun
C. Pimp C, yep, rest
okay,
in C, Pimp C.
okay, okay.
Um the Blackout Boys, Method Man and Red. Blackout album was most definitely iconic. And people don't give these guys a lot of credit. I'm gonna say Pete Rock and Smooth.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Um, Troy
yeah,
was an
yeah.
anthem. Troy was an anthem, bro. Like the main ingredient album was incredible, well production. It was just soulful as well. EPND and
Pete Rock and CL Smooth does deserve more
they
recognition.
deserve some praise.
Some more recognition, yeah.
My all time, like I said, they not number one, but I got to put them in my top 10 from the '90s because their music by far helped me get through the DOS effects.
That's a fact. Woo, yo,
It's
listen, man. I lent one of my boys my Das Effect CD. I never got it
Now the
back.
guy got it back. Yep, exactly.
Never got it back. So till to this day, every time I see him, like, yo, where my CD at, bro? Like,
That
and I
that
know he have it.
that
I
dead
know because
serious
he's a hip
CD.
hop head. I know he has it.
That dead
Never
serious
got my
CD.
CD back, man.
That dead serious CD.
Yep, yep. He
Oh,
one
you
of
ain't getting that
us.
back. Yeah, you ain't
The
getting that
Das
back.
Effect. He one of us. Yo,
Yeah.
I never got it back from him, man.
But yeah, with those 10 I just gave you, but it's so many of them. CNN. I could go with
CNN, Ramon
CNN,
Noriega, yep.
Smith and Wesson, and
Smith and
Black
Wesson.
Star. I could go with a lot of people
Black
from the
Star. I'm
90s.
telling you, that Brooklyn can give you 10 by themselves, man.
Yes, they can,
Shout out
bro.
to Black Star. Black Star album is crazy.
Yes, indeed, man. Man. So listen,
Smith and Wesson needs more recognition too.
they do, bro. I
Smith and
agree with you.
Wesson, they need more recognition, man. Like
I agree with you.
Buckshot held down Brooklyn for a minute, y'all.
Most definitely, bro.
Buckshot has some of the most gritty Brooklyn tracks, yo. Like when that
Yes, sir. I agree with you. I agree with you.
like Buckshot, man. He got into altercation last year when he got beat up in the street. So I hope he's doing much better, man. But
Yeah.
I was kind of sad to see the folks do him like that.
So I'm gonna give you 5 artists before we get out of here.
Okay.
So remember what I said: biggest hits, the catchiest hit, they most gangster hit, and the underrated gem. So take your time, all right? Let's go with Jay-Z for number 1.
Jay-Z biggest hit?
Jay-Z biggest hit. Just one. You can just give me one. Well, but just one. One catchiest.
New York State of Mind.
Jay-Z?
Yeah, like that's a song that the white folks know. Everybody knows New York State of Mind.
So Empire State.
Empire State. Yeah, sorry, Empire State.
Oh, you good.
I mean, I can give you hardcore, like you don't know is a crazy track, but everybody knows.
Everybody knows because it's an anthem. You're right.
That's
okay.
Everybody knows that.
Catchiest. What's his catchiest song?
Excuse me, miss.
Excuse me, miss. Okay.
Oh, girls, I do adore. But I'll go. Excuse me, miss. That video was crazy. Or show me what you got. You know, a lot of white folks know that song too. Show me what you got. That video was kind of tight too.
It was, and it started off with the Rump Shaker horn. So, most gangster song from Jay-Z.
That's hard. That's tough, man. Because he got some gritty stuff, man.
Oh, he do.
By the bodega, iron under my shirt, feeling braver. Do rag wrapping my waves up, pockets full of hope. Do not step to me, I'm awkward. I box lefty, I'm awkward. My pops left me, awful. My mama wasn't home. Do not step to me. Do not stress to me, I wasn't grown. Especially on nights when I couldn't bring nothing home to stop the stomach mumblings. my demeanor, 30 years, my senior, my childhood didn't mean much. Only
Renegade.
raised in green up.
Okay, Renegade could be the most
Raising
gangster.
my fingers to the critics, raising my head to the sky. Big, I did it. Multi before I die. No
No
lie.
lie.
Just
Yeah.
know I chose my own fate. I drove by the fork in the road and I went straight. Like he got a lot of gangster song. I don't right. It's hard. I gotta come back to the gangster songs because he
I
got
mean,
some
I think
really
Renegade.
tough
Renegade
stuff.
could probably be a gangster. Yeah. But
Yeah,
we'll,
but
we'll come back to it.
there's stuff that's harder than that too. But
You think? Okay.
yeah,
Underrated
yeah.
gem. Underrated gem song from Jay-Z.
You know what, man? That Blueprint 2 album, the Blueprint 2 album and the album when he did with the song called Lost Ones.
Oh yeah.
Like Lost Ones is a song that he was really telling you Rockefeller was done and people
Yeah.
really wasn't listening.
I feel like I feel like Blackout, he kind of was taking shots at Dame
And
because you gotta
Blackout.
remember Dame didn't have no production or nothing. He ain't touched the Blackout. So
Mm,
I felt like he was kind of like was saying throwing a lot of shots at Jay on the
mm,
Dame on the Blackout.
Blackout. Okay.
So for me, biggest hit is probably Empire State, and I was gonna say Izzo because everybody loved Izzo too.
Izzo's tough too.
Izzo
Izzo's well
definitely
known.
tough. The
Yeah. Or,
catches,
or, or even the Annie joint.
oh yeah, yeah. Hard Knock
Hard Knock
Life.
Life.
Hard Knock Life
Yeah.
is definitely one. But here's the thing: Hard Knock can be. It's a Hard Knock Life could be a catchy one too. I was gonna put that as my
Mm-hmm.
catches one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Most gangster one. We just said it from the Blueprint to Meet the Parents was that by far was a good storytelling song. Let's take a trip down memory lane to the
Yeah.
cemetery. I definitely think that is the most gangster
Yeah. That
song I've
that
ever
that when you
heard.
hear the end of that story, you're like,
Yeah.
wow,
Six
wow.
shots came to a came out of the gun. Just being fathers, you're killing your son. Meet the
Yeah, yeah,
parents.
yeah. That's a deep song. That's a deep song.
Now underrated Jim. Some people love the Dynasty intro, but they not really listening to it.
Mm,
You know what I
mm.
mean? I was like, no, listen to the
That,
lyrics. Y'all
produ- that
just
production on the Dynasty intro is
yes, the Dynasty
crazy.
intro was. I'm trying to tell you, bro.
That intro is crazy.
That
That's
yeah. So that's why I'm like,
the theme
nah.
song to The Sopranos plays in the key of life on my mental piano.
Piano, yes. Bro, we can
Strange
go all
words like
day.
Stevie Wonder with bees under the do-rag. Intuition is there even when my vision's impaired. Yeah,
Yeah.
knowing I can go to shop. Yeah, that intro is
That intro was
crazy,
crazy, man.
crazy.
Um,
Mm, mm.
so okay, we got Jay-Z out the way. That's one artist. Nas, let's go Nas. Biggest
Okay.
hit, catchiest, most gangster, and underrated gem.
Oh, biggest hit for Nas, man. Okay. So the what? Okay, one of the things about Nas
Mm-hmm.
is that if you look at his first three albums,
Mm-hmm.
he sold more, more, more. Like Illmatic sold, I believe, like 163,000, whatever it was,
Yes.
and it's critically acclaimed that people say that's his best album.
Um,
It Was Written came out and it sold almost double what Illmatic sold.
it
But
was
then when he
written.
got with Puff and did the I Am album, the I
Yeah.
Am album was at one time his most successful album
Right.
because he broadened. Like Illmatic was a hardcore street album.
Yes, it was.
It Was Written. He added a little extra flair with the Lauryn Hill in there. But that I Am album, him and Puffy, like they touched a lot of different production. They opened up. They made it a more broad album. That was his best selling. His best. That Hate Me. That Hate Me Now. Everybody was bumping Hate Me Now when that song came out. So like when it comes to Nas's most successful stuff, even though I like Illmatic and It Was Written, I think some of his most impactful songs were off of the I Am album because it touched so many different people
It did.
because of the production and because of he took a chance on not just supplying his hardcore fans. He went for the other fans out there too, and it
Yeah,
it, it worked.
I
Whatever
agree.
they did with that production of that album, even though some fans still gravitate to Illmatic or It Was Written, I think the I Am album is one of his most important albums. And if I had to pick one of his most important songs, I'm going with some of the stuff off of the I Am album. But the Hate Me Now, I think Hate Me Now, and like you said, the Lauryn Hill, him and Lauryn Hill, that song is very impactful too. Like everybody
Yes,
loves that
I
song.
agree.
But I think that the Hate Me Now, the I Am album is one of his most important albums in his career because
I agree.
it showed him that he doesn't have to cater only to the hardcore fans. He could still tap into this other fan base as well too, and they can
Mm-hmm.
enjoy his music.
I agree with you. I agree with you. So, like you said, biggest hit. What you got? Biggest hit.
Um,
Biggest single. Like,
uh, I want to go with Hate Me Now,
Hate Me Now.
but nah, I Stillmatic was good too. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Ether. Most impactful song because I'm gonna go with Ether because any conversation you have with Nas
Now, here's the
brings
thing.
up that song.
Now you going to his later stuff, to where he has some big hits now. So
Right,
that's
right,
what I was waiting for. Yeah.
yeah. But
So biggest
but
hit is
every conversation you have with any Nas fan,
Ether comes up.
Ether comes up. So
Ether comes
I'll
up.
say Ether. I'll say Ether.
What about the catchiest?
Uh, God. I want to say that the song with Genuine was killed his career, but um,
Hey, but he still had lyrics in
no,
that song though.
the song with the kids, when he's the
Oh,
song,
I know I can.
I know I can. Yes, I'm
Yes,
going with that.
I got you.
I'm going with that.
Most
Once you
gangster.
hear that, I know I can
I know I
be what
can.
I want to be.
Yes, I agree. I
Yeah,
got
yes.
man. Yes, sir. Okay, my man. Um, most gangster. What you got? That's a tough one too, Joe. I have 5 songs I could put in that.
That Illmatic album has some tough stuff on there. The Illmatic song has some tough stuff on there. The Lost Tape stuff has some tough stuff on there too.
And I have one song from the Lost Tapes. I have one song
Mm,
from Stillmatic. I have one song
mm,
from I Am. No, no,
mm.
excuse me. It was written. And believe it or not, I have 2 from Godson. I could put as most
Godson is a
gangster.
tough album too.
So yeah, I have a few I could put up on that
That
most
Godson
gangster.
intro is
Godson's intro is
that Godson
crazy.
intro is yeah.
So I got a
Lord of
few.
mercy, Jesus Christ. He's just nice. He's
I'm the
just nice.
last real nigga alive. Now here's the
You
thing.
thought kicking the door was full, but that's my heart. Yo,
I'm gonna
still
let
tripping
you
off that chick shit. Ooh, that's hard. That's hard.
I'm
Ugh.
gonna let you pick the most gangster first, and then we get to the underrated joint.
That's the hard one, man.
That
That's
is,
the
it
hard
is,
one,
bro. I
man.
told you.
Nas got a lot of gangster joints, man.
He do,
And he
and
got
that's a,
Body in the Trunk with Nori. He got stuff off the Firm joint. Phone tap. Nah, that's hard, man. That's a hard one. That's a
actually
hard.
no. I'll take that back. And I got one from Nostradamus too.
Nostradamus. Okay.
Yeah, I got
What
one
song? What
from
song is that?
Shootouts.
Okay.
No, 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 no. Shootouts was on.
It's from the Wild West. Yeah, that's a tough song too. Wait,
No,
let me look
Shootouts
up
was
my
on. No, that was
let
on.
me
It
look
was
at
written.
let me look
My
at
bad.
look
That
at
was on. It was written.
my
My
Nas.
fault.
Let me
That's
look
my
at my
fault.
Nas catalog. Hold on. Look
Yeah.
at that. No, but I might have to I might have to I might have to like
So
Illmatic was
Illmatic was
like
cool,
yeah
but
like
I felt
represent.
like only New Yorkers appreciated Illmatic at first. Like
Okay,
when in like the
okay.
first couple years until he dropped It Was Written, I felt like other coasts like the South and the West appreciated Illmatic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Us, we appreciated it first because you got to remember the first couple years, like even though I was a kid, my pops was
Yeah.
bumping that. So he was bumping that for 2 years until It Was Written came. I remember he took me to the store when he bought It Was Written.
Mm.
So that 2 years when he was waiting for the next Nas joint, yeah. And that's when people from like, because I have family on the West Coast. They was like, man, y'all that Illmatic. I was like, that's 2 years ago. I remember my pops telling my uncle, that's 2 years ago. Y'all just now getting hit. So that's why I'm like, but I felt like when It Was Written came out, I Am, like you said, people hated that album, but we appreciated it because it had some bangers on there, not just the Hate Me Now track. New York State of Mind too was incredible joint. The one with Scarface, he had Scarface on there.
Oh,
He
that's
had
hard
X on
too.
there.
That
Big
track is hard.
Things.
That track.
It was a track with Aaliyah. The track with Aaliyah was on there. My money, money, money. Money is my bitch. Though you got songs from I Am that's really cold. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, the I Am album really
I'm a
broadened his horizon.
I'm gonna say his biggest hit was If I Rule the World.
Hmm.
I know Ether was cold,
Ooh.
but I gotta say If I Rule the World.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice.
It's a good the catchiest.
Imagine. No, that's a good choice.
Now, does the catchiest have to be popular or does it have to be something that we know? Because like you said, you
I mean,
old me was cool.
if it's catchy, it's popular. If it's catchy, everybody knows it. Everybody sings
Um
it when it comes on.
when people the non-commercial one was the from the I Am
Okay,
KISSING.
okay, okay.
First it was Marriage, but Ether was catchy. I Know I Can was catchy too. But I got another one too. When I Made You Look came out, yeah,
And that remix too. That remix
that
even
remix was crazy. So I got to go with Made You Look for the catchiest. Now, most
made you look.
gangster
Okay,
Made You Look.
okay.
I Gave You Power is the most gangster one.
Mm.
I Gave You Power was. I love that song. I love that song. Now, underrated gem is from the 8 Mile soundtrack. You Wanna Be Me. It was a song on 8 Mile soundtrack.
That's just coming at Jay.
Yes. Yo,
Okay, okay, okay. I remember that.
I'm trying to walk a straight mile while I'm trying to take mine. I pass 8 Mile, the very state line, eating alligators and hummingbird hawks at the players' ball. Oh, that man, come on now. That was cold, bro. I love that man. That's probably
That that Jay and Nas had
a good battle.
a really good battle, man.
Yes,
Like
they did.
memorable battle.
A
Very memorable
memorable one,
battle.
bro. A memorable battle, bro. Um, Pac, Tupac, biggest hit,
Okay.
catchiest, most gangster, underrated gem. What you got for me on Tupac?
Biggest hit for Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I gotta go to his Me Against the World album. I think there's at least three songs on there, but
Me Against the
and then and
World
then and then and then off of All Eyes on Me, California Love, and Picture Me Rolling.
Ambitious as a
Um,
rider, ambitious as a rider.
Vision as a
Was
Rider, like um, I gotta go California Love probably, man.
California Love.
Yeah, I gotta go California Love. So that's like it's like an anthem,
But you hold
you
on. So
know.
you say three songs from Me Against the World?
Yeah, like Me Against the World. Let me pull it up. Me Against the
I
World.
got four songs that because
Like he had like
people
a one,
sleep on
two, three, four
Temptations,
star
man.
one.
Hey, people sleep on that Temptation song. I love that
Yeah,
Temptation song. I felt like yeah, so many tears, Me Against the World, Temptations, and the Dear Mama, of course. Those was
yeah.
like
Me Against the World. So Many Tears, Temptations. Yeah, like that three.
yeah,
Those three songs there that could be put into a lot of different categories. Then
yeah.
Dear Mama is on there. It Ain't Easy is on there. Death Around the Corner.
Oh my
Old School
goodness,
is on there.
old school. So
But
you say
but
California
but
Love was the biggest hit?
biggest hit, yeah, man, because like California Love and Picture Me Rolling,
Yeah,
they like everybody knows. And I'm not from LA, but
yeah,
everybody I speak to, like when that song comes on, is like it takes you there,
mm-hmm,
and he's talking about
yeah,
his coasts and stuff, and it's like any song where you're talking about your area and you breaking it down where you could visually just hear the song and kind of see it.
yeah.
But California Love is one of his biggest hits to me.
Okay,
I like Picture Me Rolling as well.
yeah,
That's up there as well because when he that video for Picture Me Rolling is that was an amazing video, man. Seeing him ride around the drop top and all that, picking up the girls and they driving.
Mm-hmm.
That was a crazy video.
Crazy, crazy video.
But I gotta go California, the biggest hit.
Catches.
What's the song he did with Humpty? He had a song with Humpty.
I get around.
Is I Get Around the one when they had the barbecue and he pulled the girls
I get
top down?
around. Yep, I get around.
I think I might go with I Get Around.
Okay, that's a good one. Good one.
Most catchiest. Let me think. Hold up. Nah. Yeah. I get. Nah. I'm going. I Get Around.
Going,
I
I
Get
get
Around.
around.
I Get Around.
Most gangster.
It got to be something off of. It got to be something off of Machiavelli, man. Machiavelli, he was in war mode, yo. Machiavelli opened up. He coming at Nas. He coming at Mobb Deep. Coming at Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
It got to be something off of what's the song when he had you told me don't go to war until I have my money up. Now I got my
Oh
money up.
my
Now I want
God.
war. What was that track?
Be against all odds.
Against all odds. It got to be something off of the Machiavelli album.
Against all odds. I agree.
Machiavelli album was he wanted all the smoke on the Machiavelli album.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He was like, "Yo, look, man, I'm tired. I want my spot. You're playing too much. I'm calling names. I'm not subliminally dissing. I'm not subliminaling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling names. I'm calling out names. And the production was tight. Something off of Machiavelli. Something off of Machiavelli.
I feel you.
Because that song opened up crazy and
It
it
was.
ended crazy. That
Yeah.
album. But yeah, most gangster. Or the song when he dissed Biggie when he say
Hit him
slip
up. Oh, hit him up.
hit him up. Or hit him up. But hit him up had the outlaws on there too.
Yeah.
So maybe, but hit him up is listen, man.
It's
You hear hit
considered.
him up, I get mad when I hear hit him up. I
All
get
right.
angry when I hear that's like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
That was your man's. Come on. I get mad
Facts.
when I hear hit him up.
Underrated gym.
I want to say old school, man. A
Old
lot of
school.
people never heard a lot of people never heard that song.
I know,
A
right?
lot of people don't know that song.
They don't, bro. They don't.
And that song is the embodiment of New York City, man. And that shows that even though he passed away on the West Coast and people look at him as a West Coast artist,
He's
he's an
technically
East Coast artist.
he was
You know, he lives
born in
here in
Harlem.
the East.
Right.
And
Born in
right,
Harlem.
so he's an East Coast artist. So he's showing you that this is what goes on in New York. He's like, I live this life in New York. And a lot of people, when I play that song for people, they're like, I never heard this song. Where's this song from? When did this song come out? I'm like,
Crazy.
you never heard that? Like,
Crazy.
and then
Crazy.
the way he breaks down everything in that song and his energy on that song, yeah, yeah. Old school. Most underrated. One of his most underrated songs. It needs more shine.
It do. Biggest hit to me, Dear Mama, of course. Everybody played that around the
Oh
world.
God, Dear Mama, yo, how can I not bring up Dear Mama, yo?
Dear
Dear
Mama.
Mama, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. That might be his biggest record. Everybody around the world know that record. Around the world, not America.
yeah,
Around
around
the
the world.
around
Around
the
the
world.
world, bro. Um,
I might have to change minds. I might have to change
it's
minds.
all
I
good.
might have to change.
The
No,
catchy
Dear Mama is crazy.
Dear Mama
Dear
is the
Mama is
biggest
really crazy.
one.
Dear
Catchiest
Mama.
is man, Catchiest he has a few catchy songs, man. Like it just grabs you like I feel like Hail Mary will always be a catchy song to
Dear
me.
Mary. Mm,
Hail Mary is a catchy, a hit,
mm.
all in one, perfect. Most gangster song, Tupac has some gangster shit for real.
And he has so much stuff. All Eyes on Me got some gangster stuff on there
All
too.
Eyes on Me, Doug. When he got with that fro, it was
Yep,
crazy.
yep, yep.
I'm gonna say Blasphemy from the Machiavelli album
Mm,
was gangster too, because
mm.
it was like God has a plan. because he was talking about destruction. People don't
That
realize
intro,
that
that
voice,
intro is
that intro
crazy.
was like some destruction shit. Then he went to like blasphemy. Look at the name of the Lord. Then he went to some straight Bible stuff.
That
Like
that that
the
intro,
pops
that
told me.
intro reminds me
Yes.
of like watching TV in the 90s, like those
Uh-huh.
late night TV shows where they had these that intro is
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh
I don't know
man.
where did they get that intro from? Was that
I
from
don't
a movie
know.
or something?
I never heard
You
that. I
know?
think that was just him. I think that was his.
That was
That
crazy.
was because I've tried to look that up so many years, you just can't find that nowhere. So I think that
It
was
sounds
just
it sounds like an infomercial, but it
yeah.
sounds like one of those late night pastors
And
talking.
dude,
It just that was wherever
that
they got
was
that from. That's
wow.
crazy. That's an
Genius
alien.
work. Genius work.
Yeah.
So underrated gem, man, it's so many underrated gem songs. Unconditional Love is one of the underrated gem songs, but I'm gonna go with like I said, one of my top favorite albums from Tupac is like I said before in the show was Are You Still Down? And there's a song on there called 16 on Death Row. Y'all go listen to that. That is a underrated song.
Yeah, yeah,
Underrated gem from Tupac. So y'all go check that out and thank me in the comments.
yeah.
We gonna do Biggie, y'all. Pause. Biggest hit from Biggie.
Let me get my light turned off. Give me a
Yeah.
second.
Get your light back on. You're good.
Give me a
Yes,
second.
sir. Yes, sir.
I'm like, why is it so dark in here, My battery, my
You
battery
good.
died.
You good, my
I hope
brother.
this one got power in it here. This one got some power.
All right.
I'm like, yo, what? I'm like, why is it so dark? All right, my bad.
No problem, my brother.
Notorious B.I.G. What we going with first?
Biggest hit.
Notorious B.I.G.'s biggest hit.
Yes, sir.
Juicy?
Juicy.
Juicy?
Catchiest.
Juicy? Hmm. Biggest hit. Live from Bedford Stuyvesant, the livest one, recommend maybe Juicy. Maybe
Okay.
Juicy.
Juicy.
Maybe Juicy.
What about his catchiest hit?
Hmm. What's the video that he did when he first right when he passed away? When he's driving with Puffy, driving backwards, and he had
Hypnotize. Hypnotize.
hypnotize. I might go with hypnotize.
Okay.
I might go
Most
with it. It was
most
catchy.
gangster. Most gangster one now. We on the gangster one now.
Gangster. Now listen, most gangster got to be something off of the Life After Death album. That intro. How's the song? What's the name of the song?
The life after death. Oh, somebody's got to die.
Somebody's got when he was telling the story of, and then he parked his Central, the Central exchanges. There's no money exchanges. No, it's got to be something. It's got to be something off
Yeah.
of Life After Death.
Yeah.
Hold on, hold on. It's got to be
Yeah.
yeah. And then my downfall, long kiss goodnight. No, but I gotta go. I gotta somebody's gotta die.
Somebody got
Like
to die.
that story that he told, and he shot Dredd 3 times in the chest, turned around,
Mm-hmm.
so the chest by the breast,
Yes.
headshots put him to rest, pop open the briefcases, nothing but spanking faces, and then he turned around with the baby. Oh, that story is crazy.
Yes, it is.
That story is crazy. My man died with his baby in his hand, and you could hear the footsteps running
Then
in
you
the
hear the
rain.
baby crying.
Yeah, the
Yes.
baby crying. That's so that yeah yeah. Biggie, like listen, I know Biggie only had 2 albums. I know there's a lot of MCs have
Three,
8, 9, 10,
three,
12 albums. Three.
three.
What's
Born Again was a good album.
Born Again was released before he passed?
After he passed, because he recorded it after he
Okay.
recorded it.
I know Biggie doesn't have a lot of material, and a
Yeah.
lot of people, that's the criteria why they take him out of it. Biggie is his top is top five, man. I'm sorry, man. I know he don't have a lot of material, but his impact
He has
and
enough
the ones that
material.
he did release, guys today still can't touch some of the stuff that Biggie released
I
back then.
agree. I
I'm,
agree.
I'm sorry.
So, what as an underrated gem? What song you have as the most underrated gem
Underrated
songs
gem
from
from
Biggie?
Biggie. Underrated gem from Biggie. Underrated? Hmm. I think like most things that Biggie put out, everybody's heard and like dissected and
I got one for you. This
yeah, let me
real.
hear.
Oh, you want to hear my list first?
No. What's let me hear that song that you're thinking underrated. What's your underrated?
I feel like "Miss You" is an underrated song from him,
Miss You.
from the Life After Death.
But Miss You is a big song though.
Not too
People
many people though. Not too many people though. No, not the Puff Daddy. I'm missing you. It's the song is called "Miss You."
oh,
It's off the Life After Death album. He
okay,
has a
okay.
song called "Miss You." He was talking about one of his
Oh, okay,
homeboys.
okay, 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 okay.
He actually has multiple stories in that song, and it was featuring 112. It's like, ooh. I would play
Oh,
it
okay,
for
okay.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
when we go
Underrated
on
Jim,
TikTok live,
man.
I'm gonna play it for you when we go on TikTok.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, it's a song. That song is I feel like it's the most underrated gem songs from him.
That's hard. That's a hard one, man. I might
Um,
have to go with something off of the Junior Mafia album,
yeah,
underrated, because a lot of people don't really bump the Junior Mafia. It was a pretty solid album too, but
to me it was. Yes, it
he
was.
has some good guest verses on that album as well too. Um,
Shit, Players Anthem could be a
that's huge.
Players Anthem is huge, and he killed that verse too.
That's a hard one. Underrated gem. Because I always think that we've heard everything Biggie. Like
Yeah,
we're always searching for more Biggie. What we haven't heard Biggie, and I don't know what song that people really haven't heard from Big
I feel
at this
like I
point.
said, "Miss You" is a good one.
Okay. Mm,
Rap Phenomenon from Born Again was
mm,
cool.
mm.
It's a lot of them that people ain't
I,
really.
I actually like the Born Again album.
Yeah, the Born Again album was one of
I
my
didn't like the
favorites.
duets, but I like the Born Again album.
That's because that stuff was already, I think like I like two songs from the duets album,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
those verses was already stamped, and I'm talking about raw material. But like I said, my biggest hit from Biggie will definitely be Big Papa. That is by far one of the solid anthems.
Yeah.
Yeah, big. I love
Yeah.
it when you call me Big Papa. That's a game changer right there. Catchiest is like you said, hypnotized. Everybody was singing that chorus.
Everybody was bumping that song. Yep.
Most gangster, I'ma say niggas bleed. Niggas bleed
That's
just
so true.
like us. Picture me being scared of a nigga that breathed the same air as
Mm,
me.
yep.
It go both toe to
Mm,
toe. Yeah, that's my shit right there. And
mm.
like I said, underrated gem is Miss You. Him featuring 112. He was like, I remember sharing bricks with full scholars. Got my man to beat down in the third power. Yeah, that.
Biggie was one of the best story. Like, there's a lot of good storytellers.
Yes,
Slick
there is.
Rick, Nas, like a lot of guys. Ice Cube, but
Big L.
Biggie's stories. Big Al,
Big
shout out to
L's my
rest in peace,
guy.
Big L.
Yes.
But Biggie's stories were like a story to tell. When he told a story of
The next
Anthony
dude.
Mason that
Hmm.
nobody knew was Anthony Mason until Fat
Until he
Joe
passed. Yep, until he
until
passed.
Fat Joe
Yeah.
would have told him. Like you heard when you heard that story, you could picture everything that he was saying. That like you was watching a movie.
Hmm.
He came
Yes,
home,
indeed.
opened the door, sent her back downstairs. He's coming upstairs. Oh, go get me something to drink. He go back down. He put the like you can visually hear what he's saying and like
Hmm.
see it like Biggie was really good at
Yes.
storytelling.
And
Rest in
visualize
peace,
it
Biggie,
too.
man.
Rest
I'm
in
so
peace,
mad.
Big.
I'm so mad we lost Biggie, man.
Me too,
Biggie,
bro.
Pun, Big
All of
L,
these guys. Yes, all of
yeah,
these guys.
Pac.
I got one more for you, then we up out of here. DMX.
Rest in peace, X,
Rest in
man.
peace to X2. Biggest hit from DMX.
Um, uh, what's the anthem? Rough Rider anthem.
Rough Rider Anthem?
Rough Rider anthem, maybe.
Rough Rider's Anthem. Okay.
Rough
Uh,
Rider. Yeah, I'm going Rough Rider Anthem, man.
What was his catchiest hit?
Well, it was Tisha, the Tisha, Todd and Alicia, Todd and Sean, well, whenever these. Everybody
Oh,
knows that song.
yes, indeed. Most
And
definitely.
the bad thing about that song is that if you a dude, you know you had mad girls in the day, so you know you're calling all of their name. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm going with that one.
You call your girl's name out.
Yeah.
Most gangster song from X.
Listen, man. Listen, y'all. There was a song on, I believe it was on the Rough Riders Volume 1 or 2 album called Some X Shit.
Some X shit.
Where
Yes.
it started.
Yep. Oh, Swiss killed that
Rough
beat, man.
Rider. Yo, that
Volume one, Swiss Beats. Yes.
yeah,
And
that
then
song,
that song was
like
crazy ill, bro.
if you
Yes.
don't get amped for that song when that song comes on, something wrong with you, man. You
Yes.
that's a driving song. You play that at the end of the party when the night's about to end, like some action. That song is tough. If you never heard that song,
Go listen to
go.
Rough
I
Riders
think it's
Volume
on the
One.
Rough Riders
It's
Volume Two.
Volume One. Volume One. No, Volume
Volume
One.
One.
It's
Okay,
Volume One. The
it's so
last
one of those.
song is the
That
actual
song
last
is
song. I remember
crazy.
that. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Underrated
that's one of
gem.
my favorite hardcore DMX song where he's just his energy is crazy. The beat is energy is crazy. What he's talking about is just yeah, yeah, some action.
Uh, Underrated gem. What's the underrated gem song from X?
He got a lot, man.
Yeah, you do.
X got a lot, yo. X got a lot. It gotta be something off of Flesh of My Flesh. He got a lot, man. Underrated gem from X. Gotta be something off the Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood album. Wait a minute, wait, hold on.
Yeah, what you think?
Gotta, gotta be something off of that album, yo. That album, like, like, you never saw somebody put out 2 albums in 1 year like that,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know? And they were both fire, and it was like,
Just
it
the
wasn't like,
consistency of X. The
yeah,
consistency of X.
it wasn't like extra content. It was like two solid. I'm ready to meet him. Where I'm living in right. Black hate white. White hate black is right. But like there's a lot, man. Slipping. It's got to be
Mm.
something off of the Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood album. Yeah, yo, I'm slipping. I'm falling. I can't
Can't
get
get
up. Like
up. Yeah.
that. Like the thing about X, I loved about X is like you could really feel the passion in his music. Like you
Hmm.
could really feel like he's really talking about the pain,
Yeah.
and you could like hear what he's saying and know that he's telling the truth in his
Hmm.
music, you know, and you kind of like got an eye into him, into into who he really is. And he was really. I don't think X was like super lyrical, but
Yeah. You don't think
yeah,
so?
like when you look at guys like Jay-Z that has metaphors and similes and like I don't think X was that type of MC, but he was lyrical, but he wasn't like the
Yes.
most deaf, like the commons that can like spit a rhyme and have different undertones to, but his music
Yeah.
got across to you.
His music got you.
Yeah, yeah.
Music
Like when
got
you
you.
listen to DMX music,
Oh
and
yeah.
shout to Swiss Beats too, man.
Yeah. Swiss Beats
Swiss
definitely
Beats production
was crazy.
was crazy, man. So rest in
Man.
peace, X, man. I miss X, yo.
Me too. Um, Biggest hit. That's tough. He
He
got
got
a
a lot of
lot of
smash hits.
hits,
He
man.
got a lot of smash hits. Even that Party Up is a big
Party
song.
Up was a big song. But you could put that with the catches. He has some big
That's
hits and
catchy too.
catches shit too.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm gonna do. With biggest hit catches, bro, you can put Party Up.
Mm-hmm.
X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you. Mm.
Even the intro to what's the name? 1 2 1 2. What you going 2? The intro to his first album.
Oh, 1 2 1 2
Yes, that
1 2
that
2. Oh, you don't know what it's gonna do.
dude.
Do
So I'm
you
gonna
know?
skip those.
Here's why.
I
You
pretty
get
much
why.
answered those
It's
two.
not all
So
right.
biggest hit catches, I answered those. So most gangster. Um, I love how it's going down, but it's
Mm.
not gangster. It's just some old. He dealing with some broad type shit. Ain't no sunshine was gangster to me. I
Ain't
love
no
that song.
sunshine. What
When
was that on the
this song
soundtrack? Was that on the
that
soundtrack?
was on Exit Wound soundtrack.
Yeah. Okay.
That
Yeah.
was on Exit Wounds. Either that or Crime Story. He told that story on Crime Story. That shit was cool too.
Mm.
Um, Underrated Gem. It's a song he had on Cradle to the Grave. It's
Mm.
called Right Wrong. Go listen to that
Okay.
song. That's an
I got
underrated
I
gem for
got
me.
that CD. Rest in peace to Aaliyah. I got a physical copy of that.
Yeah, go check that out, y'all.
Mm.
That's an underrated gem right there. But you got anything else, man? I appreciate you, man. I can't wait for the next show. I got you.
Yeah. That next send me the list next time so I
I
can
got you.
jot down my joints. Have more break
This
down
was
some more because there's a lot of stuff I oversaw because like catchy stuff and
yeah.
like DMX alone.
Yeah,
Like
DMX alone was crazy.
DMX
Yes.
alone, like DMX's first 4 albums were really good, yo.
Oh, you say 4?
No, I'm just saying, like he started off really hot. Like the first it's dark as hell is hot, flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood.
Flesh in my
And
flesh.
then there was X, and then what he had after that was that
The
the
Great
depression,
Depression. The Great
right?
Depression.
And then I think
Grand Champ. Grand
I
Champ.
think Grand Champ was good, but wasn't. But
Yeah,
those
them
first four,
them 5 was crazy. I
that's
ain't gonna lie.
tough, man.
I love Grand Champ though. I love Grand Champ.
No, Grand Champ gets a lot of play for me because
Yeah.
Grand Champ has one of those songs that was in one of those basketball games.
Yes.
I forgot the name of the song that was in the basketball game. Every time I play that
Um.
basketball game, they had that song playing, and one of the and one mixtape basketball game.
Yeah, it was a few songs from Grand Champ that
Yeah,
they had that people still play. Like I think
yeah.
where the hood at. Get
Where
on
the
the
hood,
floor.
where the hood.
They play that everywhere. Get it
That's
on
a
the
solid
floor.
5 albums, yo.
Exactly.
That's
So
a
yeah.
solid five. X first 4 or 5 albums is solid.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you for pulling up, man. This was fun. I can't wait to this. I put this out here, man. So
Yeah,
show some
let me know
love,
what you
y'all.
want to do for the holiday. Let me know.
I got you.
Send me the information.
Yeah, we
Again,
could
I'll
just no. That's
make
just
you
so
have some more.
we could just get on TikTok live and just play some music, bro. Like let the people enjoy. Let them come through like they do, like you let them do. But y'all
Okay.
like, comment, subscribe. Go subscribe to my man's page. I'm gonna put his information in the description. Show some love. Like I said, peace, love, and all that, y'all. We appreciate y'all for joining us, and we out, man. New
I
York's
appreciate
finest.
you.
Yes,
Peace,
sir.
y'all.
Peace.